What's up, family? Welcome to another exciting episode of Rappers in My Backyard, the podcast that stays lit. We rap about relationships, music, and entertainment. And today, we're going to be talking about our relationship with our cultural circumstances. And on the grill, we are going to be putting on community policing, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons and all of that. Also, you guys know I love setting up every episode with an amazing quote that lays the groundwork for provocative conversation. So here's the quote. Don't allow your circumstances to determine who you are. Use those circumstances to motivate yourself to whom you want to become. And that comes from lisaolivis.com. So that sets us up nicely to talk, express, relate, connect with our special guest. Y'all ain't ready. Our special guest, IceT, is in the backyard. What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, Ice?
Okay, before we get started, let's say something. I mean, I've been doing a lot of Zooms, and I figured out how to make a fake background, right? Like, I'm not, I found a look like I'm in a cool penthouse or something, but really, you know, I've been playing on, I didn't even know Zoom existed, you know? And I've been doing so much of it that I had to figure out how to make it happen. So don't think I'm flossing on you. It just looks better than where I'm at.
Man, you looking good over there too. I want to get into that virtual reality.
Exactly. But I'm very happy to be here. You know, I mean, I've been knowing Greedy Greg and all your folks from back in the day. So the call came through to me and I'm like, podcast. And then they told me who y'all was. I'm like, oh, I'm there. That's how it works.
Man, thanks for that, solid. We appreciate you a lot, family.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's definitely what's up. And the fact that you took the time today, it means a lot to us and it means a lot to the audience because they're going to learn a lot from your journey. So that's what we want to talk about today. So let's kick it off. What you been up to, IceT?
I've been quarantining like everybody else. You know, right now, though it looks like I'm in a New York penthouse, I'm at my family crib in Arizona. You know, I've been living in New Jersey and New York doing Law and Order for 20 years. So the West Coast kid moved to New York to get that bag, you know? And
right.
And we came to AZ because of the coronavirus. It was killing 800 to 900 people a day in New York. And we came out here and it spiked here. And Coco's dad got it, was in the hospital on the brink of death. And he stayed in there for a month. And now he's out, but he has to use an oxygen. He's on oxygen indefinitely because it damaged his lungs severely. So I try to get through to everybody out there. They think I'm tough. I'm like, you can't whoop coronavirus ass. You can't fight it. You can't shoot it. And it basically will really hurt you bad. So be careful with it. Don't play with it. You know, I tell people I don't care about your conspiracies, where it came from. What made it 5G? The virus itself is real. That virus is real. And if you catch it, it'll drag you across the floor. So let's be careful till they figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that you said you on lockdown says a lot because like you said, we can't see the virus. We don't know what it looks like. We just are seeing the damage of it. You know, so absolutely. Man, I'm praying for you and your family, you know, especially Coco's dad, you know, that he's able to rebound from that. But it's serious and it's hitting us in areas that we need, which is our breathing. So it's just crazy. It really is crazy.
The first person I knew personally that had it was Scarface from Ghetto Boys. And that's one of my boys. He called me. It destroyed his kidney. Now he's on dialysis. My partner who basically hooked us up, Al P, he had it. And he was in Vegas. It brushed past him. It was light with him. but I know about
Right.
6 people that have actually died from it. So like I say, you know, we all think we still 20 years old, but we're not. I'm not. You know, I think I am, but I'm not. And I just don't want it. I don't want to test it. Let's try that. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to test it. And it's bad enough being on quarantine. Why would you want to be sick on top of it? You know, and in the hospital, people dying. So that's just, you know, my public service to all people out there. Listen to me. It's real. And let's just, you know, I feel they will figure a way to treat it soon. I think all the brains of all over the world, this is a global pandemic. Every genius in the world is trying to figure a way. I'm not a vaccine cat. I'm talking about treatment.
Right.
And I believe they'll figure something out that they'll be able to at least have a valid treatment for it soon. So I'm crossing my heart and hoping that happens.
Yes, yes. And I'm crossing my heart and hoping that our Black people will be able to afford it, you know, because I know they're going to put a charge on it because everything has been a charge through this whole situation. It's the have and have not. So I'm really praying that some kind of way the people who don't have the money, who are exposed to poverty, have an opportunity to get treated. Because if that don't happen, then what are we doing? It's not going to stop it. It'll just be, again, what it is now, because this corona is not basically, it doesn't have no, you know, rhyme or reason to it. It's not white or black. It's not money or no money. It's I'm about to wreck your world right now. It's an equalizer.
It is a little bit no money or no money because wealthy people are already socially distanced. You see what I'm saying? They live in homes. They're separate. They have that barrier of wealth. You know, like even out here in Arizona, everybody has a house. You know, now in New York, people live on top of each other. People are catching, you know, the train and everything. So it does. You can be a little bit more distanced. The first thing you do when you get some money is get away from people. You separate yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's still the trickle down effect of poverty still plays.
Yes, it's in everything. And with that, let's kick off these questions. First, I want to just lay a little bit of the history because you've done so much from hip hop and now acting and stuff like that. So let's just touch a little bit on how you got started for this young audience that is eager to learn how to transform their lives.
Well, man, let's start it. I mean, the quick thing, I was born in Newark, New Jersey. I lost both my parents when I was young. My father passed, mother when I was in the 3rd grade, father when I was in the 7th grade, and I was shipped to Los Angeles to live with my aunt in the 7th grade. So I've been in Cali ever since junior high school. At that point, I was busing Palms Junior High School in Culver City because they was busing back in those days. They bused the kids from Gompers. They bused the kids from South Central, and they moved us out there. But by the time I got to the 10th grade, I wanted to walk to school, which I was in walking distance to Crenshaw High School. So that's the same school, Nipsey Hussle. Everybody from LA knows Crenshaw is like dead center. It's the dead center school of Los Angeles. You know, it's not an East Side school. It's not too West Side. It's dead center, Crenshaw Boulevard. And I went there. At that point, I was really introduced to the gangs. I'm not in no gang, but here I am introduced to the gangs because all the kids from Fauché, Bethune, and Horace Mann went to Crenshaw. At that point in gang history, I got there were Bloods at Crenshaw, or Brims at that time. They moved out. They all transferred to Manual Arts or Dorsey, and I went to Crenshaw. I'm an older cat. I graduated in '76. I'm 62 years old. So I'm from the gang area of Tookie and Jamel and Cutes and you know, the early gangbangers that used to be big, like before everyone was shooting each other. When you were gangbangers, they was on swole. It was and they would knock you out, you know. And the gunplay came in heavy with crack. When the crack era hit in the 80s, that's when the gunplay came in and all the gangs divided into smaller sets all over Los Angeles to where now you got Crips fighting Crips. So I came up right during that era. I was in the streets heavy. I was never a gangbanger. I was a player. We were the cats wearing the Fila with the perms. And you know, we was doing all the same thing the gangsters was doing. We didn't look like, we didn't wear the khakis and all that, but we still had a pistol. You know what I'm saying? So they knew who we was, and I moved all through Los Angeles. That's why I know so many people. But not being connected to a gang allowed me not to have gang politics. I grew up where in the 60s, around the 60s, in the Harlems and the Hoovers, but I was never official, so I was able to coexist amongst Brims, Van S. Brims, all the different gangs. So I'm very well versed in survival of Los Angeles. And, you know, I was out there breaking the law, getting into trouble and all that until hip hop came along. And when hip hop came along, I was just like anybody else. Like, it's such an intriguing culture with the break dancing, with the DJing, with the graffiti and the rapping. I wanted to do it. I saw it. It came from New York. I saw it. I wanted to try my hand at it. And long story short, just getting into that music, I would hustle in the day and do the music in the night. And then, you know, my friends started to go to prison. They started getting killed because you know, in the streets, you gotta raise the risk to raise the profit. So the crimes become more dangerous, more violent, and more people started getting killed. And my boys were like, Ice, man, stick with that rap shit. My nigga, like, stick with that. You know, don't come to prison. I never went to prison, you know? So it detoured me from the joint, and that led me the road to success. You know, eventually the rap led me to being in the films and television. And, you know, here I sit now. I've been on Law and Order now. I'm the longest running Black actor in television history. I've been on the show 21 years solid. And
wow.
I think one of the reasons I was able to stay the course was because I already had tested the street. You know, I knew what my options were there, and I knew the results. And once I left that life, I already knew there was no way to go back that way. You know, I'm not hustling backwards. I tried it. I tested it to the fullest. To the fullest.
It doesn't work.
No, it's you have a limited time in that game. And, you know, the worst thing about it is the longer you get away with it, the more confident you feel with it. But yeah, all the people I admired, all the ballers in my neighborhood, they went under in my brain. I just said, do I think I'm flyer than them? I mean, this is going to happen. Eventually, I'm going to get cracked. And I ducked that. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God for that. And I want to talk a little bit, especially about a record
that was a quick life story of IceT. That was a quick life story.
No, there's so much more. There's so much more. So that's what I was saying, that I just want to ask you about a record that you did, Cop Killer, in 1992, specifically because that's kind of what we're dealing with already. It was a protest song that you created, right? Based on what you saw going on around you. Let's talk a little bit about Cop Killer.
By 1992, I not only had my rap career going, but I decided to create a rock band. And the rock band was called Bodycount. And I made it with a bunch of cats from Crenshaw High School, my classmates, friends. And we decided we wanted to do rock. Now, a lot of people are like, why would you do rock? I'm like, well, Black people invented rock and roll, you know?
Right.
This is just another way of getting my message across. And I had friends that could play instruments, and I just wanted to do something different. You know, I'd already had platinum rap albums. I'm like, let's try something different. So the way Cop Killer happened, we were in rehearsal one day, and I was singing a song called Psycho Killer by a group called the Talking Heads. And I walked in singing Psycho Killa, Sissy, and my drummer, Beatmaster V, rest in peace, he's passed. He said, we need a cop killer. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he started breaking down how the cops, a lot more injustice even than I was aware of, how they shot such and such over here. They went up in my man's house, drug him out,
Right.
baby moms, all that. And my brain started to tweak. And I said, well, what if somebody during times like these just
Right.
went after the cops, just like snapped because of police brutality and went after them? Like, I'm not saying he's sane. I'm saying he snapped and he decided,
Right.
I'm going to start killing these cops because of police brutality. I put the record out and I was attacked. I was attacked by the president. I was attacked by Congress. It was a full-on war back in '92 over that particular song. The problem with that song, though, was not me singing it, was because I had white kids with their fists in the air singing Cop Killer because it was rock. And anytime you transfer black rage to the white youth and they accept it, it's dangerous. If you watch these people in Portland, Oregon right now, if you watch a lot of the protests, it ain't all black people. It's white people out there fighting the police. That's the danger. The danger is when all the people that are not receiving what America claims to give, that connect together and move as one. And that's a serious danger. If it's all black people, it's easy. They can just handle black people. They just say, they just line us up and shoot us in the street. But they can't shoot at grandma, grandma, the white mother who's out there who's fed up too because you're her best friend. And she's tired and she feels it too. And this is the problem right now. They can't deal with the protesters because the protest is too diverse. So Cop Killer created a diverse protest because a lot of black kids never heard the record. They like Cop Killer, that's rock. I ain't heard it, but the white kids heard it and they was with me, and it caused a fucking national problem.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. And that's why I wanted to touch on that with you, because it's so crazy that we're in the same space, actually. With people being on the front line as it refers to police brutality. And that being said, a lot of people want to know, what steps did you take? Because you had to have a comeback from that, Ice, because there were circumstances involved with putting out that song as it referred to you moving forward. So how were you able to make that transition from hip hop into Hollywood and start doing your acting?
Rough. It wasn't easy. There were some rough times. I mean, they were out to blackball me,
Right.
And the thing was, I wasn't lying, and I wasn't calling people to kill cops. Like, they thought that I was saying, go kill the police, which I wasn't. I sung about a fictional character who went on a rampage, which we can do in music. They didn't really want to give me as a black man the artistic ability to create somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were like, I'm like, no, I'm not. And so what I did was I met with Minister Farrakhan at Honorable Elijah Muhammad's house. He had myself, he had Chuck D, he had Sister Soldier, and he had Ice Cube.
I love her.
He had Ice Cube. All of us were under fire, but I was the hottest at the time. He told me point blank, he says, if you stand in the middle of the street, expect to get hit by a car. You made a blatant statement, and you got to be prepared for blowback. If I come out today and were to say something considered anti-gay, right, which I would never do, I got to be prepared for the gay community to attack.
Right.
So I'm thinking I got free speech and I can say anything, but I had to learn freedom of speech. Watch what you say. You see?
Yes.
So I had to learn, I attack the cops. They can attack back if they feel hurt. And
Yeah.
I had to learn that, you know, and he just told me also, define your position.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel you need to apologize, apologize. If you don't. Define your position, stand on it. So I just told people, I said, this was a protest record. It was an imaginary character that snapped because of police brutality. That's what that song was. Nothing more. It wasn't let's go cop killing. It wasn't you should kill a cop. It was a person. And I stepped away from it. It took about 5 years. I lost New Jack City Part 2. I had to leave Warner Brothers.
Wow.
See, here's one thing we got to understand as Black people. Hip hop is one big nigga. It's just one. So if hip hop supports you, that's just one nigga. I needed people outside of hip hop to support me. Who supported me? Quincy Jones. Who supported me? Wesley Snipes. Different people, not from hip hop, that said, and see, the thing of it was, people were supporting me on free speech. Like, they were saying, well, he has the right to say it, but nobody was coming in saying, he has the right to say it because these cops are fucking killing people. They were supporting me on free speech, but not the real issue. You see what I'm saying? You could say something, and I could say, I support her right to say it, but they not really supporting what you're saying. You see? So people kind of softly supported me, but some people came in, like rappers came in, but they don't give a fuck because rappers are just one big nigga. They don't care. Fuck the rap.
Yeah.
So But I stood my ground, and as more of what I sung about came to light, I became vindicated. Now, with video cameras and Rodney King and all these different things, see, Cop Killer was written a year before Rodney King.
Wow, that's right.
It was before Rodney King. So they tried to make it seem like I was trying to activate people. I'm like, no, this has been going on. You know what's saving our movement and our cause is only camera phones. If there weren't phones, people would still deny this shit. But now everybody's seeing it, and people are like, IceT wasn't lying to us 20 years ago. So I've been vindicated at this point. Motherfuckers can't fuck with me. They like, you told us, you warned us. But you got to remember, people, when you're ahead of the curve and you're talking, you're going to get attacked. And I spoke.
Definitely.
I spoke about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. And I'm like, when you protest, you got to be prepared to take the hit. There's going to be a hit. So when he dropped on one knee, the NFL hit him. You got to, that's what a protest is. So people are like, oh, they shouldn't. No. As a woman, if you stand up, you're going to take a hit, but you got to be strong and willing to take that hit and fight through that hit. If there's no blowback, then you're not protesting nothing. It's like, what are you saying? There's going to be a people that are going to fight back against you. So I did it. Cube did it. Public Enemy did it. Sister Soldier did it. KRS-One did it. There was so many people back in those days of hip hop where we were letting them have it. And, we're still here. We're all.
That's it. And we need to keep on letting them hit it. Speaking of such, who gave you your first part as a cop? That's just so funny to me that you would experience life through police brutality and seeing that, and then you get to play a cop. So how did you get your first part?
Well, you know what it is? I mean, I'll make it clear. People like Ice, you didn't like the cops. I mean, I saw police brutality, but I also was a criminal, and I was breaking the law every day. I was breaking the law. I was committing up to 5 felonies a day. I was active. So I don't have a problem with the cops when they going after the bad guys. If we selling crack and niggas getting caught, ain't nobody mad when they rush that crack house. That's part of the game. But they're killing unarmed people that ain't breaking the law. That's the bullshit. Like, you know, even in our black community, if we know these niggas is gangsters and they get jacked, that's just part of the game, you know? But when they busting people that didn't do nothing and unarmed and killing people, that's when they cross the line. So me, myself, people say, well, you hated the cops. I'm like, nah, I was a real live criminal. The cops were not the enemy. They were our opponent. We feel we could beat them. So we not mad at them. They doing their job. We doing our job. And if we get caught, we cuffed up and we played law and order. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting mad. I know I'm not supposed to be running up in this credit union with no guns, none of that old bullshit, you know? So I'm not that guy that's going to say, oh, they were treating me bad. I know I was out there causing mayhem. But I lost my train of thought. I was saying,
who gave you that first shot? I'm
in a club, and Mario Van Peebles walked up to me, and I was talking to some females, and he comes up, says, "I'm doing a movie. I want you to be in a movie." I think he's with the Hollywood bullshit. I think he's trying to impress the females. You know, like, I'm a producer. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Me and Mario exchanged numbers, and the next day I called, and it was Warner Brothers Pictures, and they were doing New Jack City. And I was like, okay. So I went and I read the script, and I'm like, whoa, this is the police, you know? And they like, you could do it. I'm like, this is like every line in the script. They like, you can do it. I'm like, this nigga got dreads. I got a perm, nigga. Like, what? what part of the game is that? And that's the album, and my album was coming out, original Gangsta album was coming out at that time, like my fourth album. And I didn't know if I was going to throw my whole career away. But here's a funny story. I used to get my hair done at Good Fred's on 54th and Western. And that's when we used to go get the waves. You know, my shit used to be more wavy than the ships in the Navy. You understand me? So I was in there. You understand? You know, I had to be sharper than y'all females. That's the only chance I had, was to be sharper than y'all, you know? So I was trying to be dressed and to impress, you dig? So the girls in there, I told them I had a chance to be in a movie, and they wanted me to play the police. And they like, nigga, if you don't go do that movie, you a sucker. They like, you know, y'all out here hustling and doing everything you can because you claim you got no opportunities, but here's an opportunity. And if you don't take that opportunity, you a real live sucker, you know? Go play the police. So what? It's acting. And those women in Good Fred's told me. And then I would call my homies, and they like, I like, yo, they want me to play the police. Them niggas like, word? Can I be in the movie? Like, they would never say, don't play the cop. Then I'm talking to people in prison. I'm like, yeah, man, you know, they want me to play the police. Word? If I was out, could I be in the movie? See, that's the one thing a lot of white people don't understand. When you in the hood, an opportunity is an opportunity. And you know, people like, oh, will you play the police? I'm like, look, ain't nobody from my neighborhood mad at me playing the cops. To them, Ice has a job. Ice has had a job, and he's doing something legit, and he's feeding his family. We ain't worried about him. You know, they get confused, like what's okay and what's not okay. They don't understand that if you're in a gang and you really can play basketball, the gang will look at you and say, nigga, why are you hanging with us? You need to go and play basketball. They will look at people in that group and say, why are you here, man? You can fix cars. You need to be doing lowriders. They won't hold you back. They'll say, you too smart to be here with us, nigga. Like, go be a doctor. Like, you know? So, in a way, a gang is a unit of people that really don't feel they have options. But if they see an option, so when they saw me rapping and they was, go homie, go.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first.
Go get the bag.
Go get the bag. New Jack City, playing a cop, and I was terrified, and the movie hit, and the fans didn't have a problem with it. They were like, Ice is acting.
Good. It was so good. I loved you in New Jack City. What's so funny, though, I want to ask you, what came easier to you, the good cop or the bad cop, and why? Because you played the bad cop, and I've seen you play a good cop, and you play them both so well. But which one came easier?
Honestly, playing a cop is just like playing a gangster. It's the exact same acting. It's the exact same. You both got a gun. You both have like an arrogance about you. You both want answers, or there'll be a consequence. So cops and gangsters it's the exact same acting. Like if you watch me on on Law and Order, when I'm sitting down interrogating somebody, in my real mind, I'm not even looking at him like it's a cop. I'm looking at him like, nigga, you got something I need, and you got to tell me what the fuck I need. I'm gangster. I'm like looking at him like, this is a nigga that owes me money, you know?
Right.
So all that energy you see on the screen is really me just translating it through just being a street motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? But what people got to understand is if you're in the streets and you are breaking the law, the higher you go up, the more the cops are like the criminals. Like if the cop that's on the street busting you for jaywalking, no, he's not like you. But when you get to those DEA agents, when you start moving up, them niggas is just like criminals. Them niggas look the same. They in the gym, they on swole, and they'll beat your ass. They're just the other side of the game. So I think when they started booking me as the police, they like, it's too easy to have ICE. Like when I did New Jack City, they were more concerned with me being able to be convincing when I went undercover to Nino than being a police. Like we need somebody that when he pretends he's a hustler, it's convincing. Or Nino would know he's not. So it's put it like this: a street guy can play a cop easier than a square can play a street cat. Okay. We know how to square up. But
So did you like either one, or did you like being the good cop or the bad cop, or it's a combination of both that you use?
I think now that I've been acting so long, I think you just like playing something different.
Okay.
So I've been playing this cop so long. If in the next movie, I don't want to play a cop. I want to play a school teacher. I want to play a bad guy. I want to play anything. You know what I'm saying? Because as an actor, you're always looking to try, can I act like something else? So it's not so much being the bad guy or the good guy. I think it's more of a stretch watching me play the police than for me to play a gangster in a movie. That's easy.
Right. And you make it look good. And I think that sets us up real nice, Ice, to take it to the grill. Let's go to the grill.
What's the grill?
And talk about this. The grill is where we're going to throw on community policing, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of that.
Okay.
All right. So we ready to go to the grill, family? I know y'all are. I am. And so is IceT. Let's go. So, IceT.
Yes.
What do you think about community policing as it refers to an antidote to the problems that we're having with police brutality? Do you think that having community policing would help us out in the community for people not to get mistreated and beaten like we're going through right now? What's your thoughts about community policing?
I think that I haven't really spent any time thinking about this. I've heard about all the defund the police things and this, that, and third.
Right.
I remember when I got my job at SVU, Dick Wolf said, "You don't like the police, right?" And I said, "No, I don't say that." I said, "I was a criminal. I know why they're there." He said, "But you admit we need them." I think we definitely need the police. All right. Yes. There's situations that call for the police. I mean, they are trained at detectives. They know how, if something happens to one of your kids, or like I'm in SVU, someone molests them or something like that, police work has to be done. You know, people have to go in and figure out, and, you know, we watch forensic files. There are many skilled things that they can do. I believe that having a community police division needed to work with the police, like somebody, like another group of people, like, you know how they got neighborhood watch?
Yes.
You know, like you create a police force that has pretty much the same ability as the cops, but the cops are only called in when they can't handle the situation. Does that make sense? If it escalates, we bring in, you know, heavier situations because shit can't escalate. So there's things that, you know, of course, people, you know, motherfuckers out here, you know, like me back in the day. Yeah, get rid of cops, you know. Like,
I do know.
But there's situations that law-abiding citizens need police. I mean, you know, everybody don't got a gun in their house. If somebody's coming through their window, they dialing 911. We dialing 911. So the theory that you don't want 911, and if you do have a community police force, they have to be trained.
Yes.
They have to be well trained. Just anybody can't handle domestic disputes. Just anybody can't handle, you know, just basic altercations. How they gonna handle gangbanging? How they gonna handle the gang situation? So I have no problem with having community people in place that can kind of be a buffer between the police and stop small things and monitor the neighborhoods and hold it down. Like in New York, they had this group called the Guardian Angels.
Angels, yeah, I was thinking about them.
And they tried to ride the trains, and they were out to try to stop the stuff on the train. But they ended up becoming a gang. They ended up getting carried away and beating people down, and they not the police. And people like, you ain't arresting me. You ain't the police. So I think it's a complicated problem. I think a lot more effort also has to be into just holding these cops more accountable. And getting far more training and more where they're, you know, whether it's their internal affairs and just getting the so-called good cops to stop covering for the bad cops.
Bad cops, yeah. Because there's some of the pros with community policing is, of course, it brings the community together. I do think that it will eliminate some of the crime, at least, you know, and it would educate the community on what the different laws are. Because let me tell you, IceT, if you were a community policeman and I was sitting there getting ready to rob somebody's house, if you walked up on me, I'd have a second thought about it. You know what I mean? Because I think that it makes a difference to have people who have grown up in that community be able to communicate with those that live there. Absolutely. Because I've had a chance to see, okay, you're IceT, whatever. I've seen you gang, you know, being involved with around gang members, hustling on the streets, all of these things. So I would trust you to convey that message to me about my life because you can understand my life.
Absolutely. Well, I think the problem, especially LA, is LAPD don't walk the beat. LAPD stay in their cars. So only time they get out of that car is they're in motion, you know? So you don't know these cops, you know, they just roll on you. In New York, at least the cops walk the streets. Like
Right.
You'll know that officer that comes up and down your street on a daily basis. They walk. New York, LA, they don't. So like I say, when LAPD come out, they got on their vests, they've been in the gym, and they come in hard body at you, you already know they're in motion. They're
right.
So that dialogue that you get from them and just, hey, how you doing and all that, that's pretty much absent in LAPD, So at every city and every town, I think just the fact that the dialogue is out there, that our police departments need a lot of work and need a readjustment and may need community leaders involved. That's a start. Start. And we got to keep that pressure on to get it right. Of course, somebody from the community is going to treat somebody from their own community different. It's only natural, But there's a lot of dilemmas, when you playing the police on TV is fake. It's like, ain't nobody coming to me with $1 million saying, look the other way, we gonna be selling this dope.
Right.
So, and you just don't know what it's like. So I don't try to pretend like I know what the cops is dealing with. I know that, there's good cops trying their best, and there's assholes out there. One thing I try to explain to people is this. A lot of the profiling that we see is based on money. I did a song called No Lives Matter, where I break it down and I say that they determine whether you can fight back, and that's how they're going to treat you. Give you a good example. If they pulled you over and you said, my mother is a congresswoman, or I'm a congresswoman, they're going to treat you differently because they know you can fight back. In Law and Order, will say, oh, they live on the Upper East Side or they live in Beverly Hills. Tread lightly. That's what they're telling the cops. So what they're saying is they got money. They can fight us back. But when you go in Nicholson Gardens, bust them upside their motherfucking head because they ain't got no money. They can't fight back. So they are aware of who can cause them a problem and they behave accordingly. They'll put us out if we in, Imperial Courts, they're going to sit us on the ground, right? If we're in Pacific Palisades, we're not sitting on the ground. Now, is that black or white, or is it just class? Do they know these kids in Pacific Palisades, parents are probably lawyers and shit? You see what I'm saying? Black or brown has always meant poor. So the racial thing connects to, can you fight back? And they treat us accordingly. I took all my cars and they're registered to IceT Touring. And I did that so they know who they're pulling over. Like, they know that I'm not breaking the law. They know I'm an actor. They know who I am before they come with the bullshit. They can still come with the bullshit, but they usually won't because they know I can fight them back. Like Chris Rock said, he said, I'm famous from about 10 feet away in good light.
I like that.
10 feet away, I'm just another nigga. But once that's Chris Rock, they're gonna adjust their behavior not because he's black, it's because he can fight back. They know there'll be a problem. So we gotta understand that there are blatant racist things going on, but a lot of it also is class-based. It's class-based that, we could treat poor people any fucking kind of way. And they do that.
Yes, and that's what we're dealing with. We were dealing with it then, and we're dealing with it now, and that's why I wanted to throw community policing on there just to throw out an idea, because again, like you said, we need cops, but we need a way for the community to understand what a cop is supposed to do versus what they've been used to receiving. There has to be some
Absolutely.
policing and some equality in it. And that's why I wanted to throw it on the grill, because I'm sick of it, IceT. And I thought that with you and I, and you playing a cop and you actually witnessing different things, I felt that this would be a good dialogue for us, you know?
I absolutely agree with you. But I also know that they're going to require training. I'm a hypocrite. You know, I used to break the law. I never used a cop in my life. You know, if I had a problem with you, I'll come see you. But now if somebody stole my car, I want the cops to find my car. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not going out hunting niggas, you know, with a car full of niggas looking for my motherfucking car. No, those things, you know, so when it's two worlds. If you hustling, then, you know, the cops are the opponent. But if you, once you a square person and you working and you doing like that, they serve a purpose. You understand?
Yes.
They serve a purpose. So, you know, let me tell you a quick cop story.
Okay.
I never used the cops before. Anytime I ever had a problem, I've had people steal, rob. I never called the police. I just stuck to the code. I didn't want to ever put somebody in jail. I was just like, nah. But
right.
We moved into this new house in New Jersey, and the first day we get a phone call, and the phone call is some girl on the phone telling Coco that she's gonna kill her the next day. The next day you're gonna die. Listen.
Wow.
So Coco hands me the phone, and the girl's ranting, you're gonna die tomorrow, you're gonna die tomorrow. She hangs up. I'm like, how the fuck this is our first day in the house. How did this person get this phone number? So my brain was like, how do I handle this, right? So now being a cop on TV so long, I say, you know what I gotta do? I gotta make a police report in case I kill a motherfucker, right? Because if I kill somebody, they're gonna say, why didn't you report it? Right?
Yep.
I learned that much about, see, you gotta know the law. So I was like, so I went down to my local precinct and I said, look, somebody called my house and they made a death threat. I'm not really worried about it, but I just want to make a police report in case I got to kill a motherfucker. I told them straight up. But they said, because I'm going to protect my wife. So they were like, nah, you don't do, you know, but I let them know. And I wanted that on the record. I came in there telling them I was going to hurt somebody. They come around my way. So anyway, I had the phone number that the person had called from. I gave it to the police. Do you know in 1 hour, the cops showed up at my house and told me who this person was? They had their Facebook, they had their Instagram, they had all their information, because now social media is the #1 tool of law enforcement. And once they find your name, they find everything. So they showed me this person's Facebook page. Apparently this was a crazy person who was stalking people. And this is why she told Coco that she was going to die. Dig this. The day before, she was in a forum where this is some unnecessary shit, but I'm just chopping it up with you. Where they were talking about black and white people being married. And somebody said, this girl said, no, if you marry a black man, he going to kill you if you're a white man. So this woman was calling Coco to warn her that I was going to kill her. Like, this is... And apparently we had just got this phone number and it wasn't unlisted yet. And she went in the phone book and found my name and was warning Coco. So anyway, the cop said, this person would love to be in court with you. They live out of state, and just block your number and, you know, it'll be done deal. But the cops handled their business in 1 hour, you know?
Right.
So they have a purpose. They ain't supposed to be beating motherfuckers down the street or killing. Oh, hold up. Chanel, you want to be on TV? Come on.
Yeah. Well, you know what, I think that let's let our audience decide. But for you, you give community policing the thumbs up or the thumbs down?
I think it could work if it's put in place correctly. I don't think you could just call everybody in the hood a cop and say, okay, y'all start arresting motherfuckers. I think that could get out of hand. But I think if it's handled correctly, I think, yeah, why not? Say
yeah,
hi.
I'm for it too. I'm definitely for it too. So let's take that off the grill, Ice. I think we burnt that one up real nice.
Okay.
And let's move on to the next question. So in your opinion, what is our relationship with our cultural circumstances as it relates to being Black in America right now? With the police brutality, we got this voting going on right now, and we got the COVID. So what is our relationship with our circumstances right now? Because it's crazy.
I think as bad as it is, I think we're communicating more. So, yes. They all say every cloud has a silver lining. And I think that very important dialogue is going on right now. And we understand that we're in a serious moment, and I compare this to the civil rights movements of the 60s. My father marched in the civil rights movement. I think that the fact we're talking about these things, putting them on the grill. You got to remember that prior to Donald Trump, when we had Barack Obama, Barack made everybody think everything was okay. Barack is so smooth. He come on like, yeah, I just caught Bin Laden, y'all. Everything's cool, chill. Go watch the freestyle. He's partying with Jay-Z and Beyonce. We were all in the club. It was like everything seems good, Yes. Black president. When Trump came in, he just started scaring the shit out of people. He fired up all the racists, so they're back fully active. And we realized we got a long way to go. Long way to go. The beauty of this moment is I think it's going to create a bunch of young activists. I think that young women and young men are now going to stand up for things. They're not as concerned with flossing or having the coolest stuff. Like we went through an era where the youth really weren't vocal.
Yes.
And I think now we're going to see the birth of a bunch of new leaders that are going to take flight on all kinds of different topics. And I'm happy for that. So even though this is a bad time, I think we're going to come out of it strong.
Yes, I agree with you. And that's why I wanted to ask the statement, because that's where we are right now. And also I wanted to ask you, IceT, how important is it to be yourself? Because throughout your career, you have been yourself. You never phoned it in. You allowed your circumstances to lead you to the next things for you to learn about and for you to grow through. So how important is it, let our audience know, for you to be yourself, not you being yourself because you are, but for them being themselves?
Well, there's a theory out here. People say fake it till you make it. I never believed in that, because sometimes you just get too good at faking it and you never stop. You know what I'm saying? You're faking the whole way through. I always tell people, you got to be honest. If you ain't got it right now, you tell the homies, man, I ain't got it right now. That's why they're going to help you. Why would they help you if you flossing like you doing all these things? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we just have to address our position we are in life, but we're trying to move forward. We're trying to make moves. Me, myself, I'm an orphan. Like I said, I lost my parents early.
Yes.
And I realized that I wasn't going to get nowhere living anybody else's life. I had to live my life, and just having the courage to just be yourself, that's terrifying to people. Just to be yourself, I don't got no tattoos. When niggas was tattooing themselves, I'm like, nah, that's an identifying mark. The police want to know identifying mark. I'm not getting no tat. I'm not joining your gang. I don't smoke weed. Everybody was getting high. I never did coke. I sold drugs. I never touched it. Don't get high on your own supply. I was, I just was on my own so long that I said, I got to make my own calls. You know what I'm saying? I never got any tattoos. I was going to get a tattoo once across my shoulders and was going to say, it's my fucking life.
Like it.
This is my fucking life. So I learned early on that I got to make my own calls about every fucking thing and have the courage to say it. Have the courage, you know? It's hard for people because people everyone is looking for approval. All looking for approval. It may be from your mother. It may be from your mate. It may be from your children. But we're all seeking approval. If I tweet something right now, I want people to like it. I want people to like it. So that human nature of wanting to be approved can go a little too far to where you no longer care about yourself. You're only seeking approval. So you got to just find yourself, and that's the only way you're going to be original. The one thing LA niggas could say about IceT, there's only one of that nigga. There's only one. Ice did shit nobody did. He did it the way nobody did it. He's a unique individual. You know what I'm saying? This nigga don't give a fuck. A lot of black people will have a problem with me because they like, well, you don't fall in line with us. I'm like, nigga, I'm leading you, nigga. I'm not falling in line with y'all motherfuckers. I'm leading you. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be happening in a few months or a few years. So, and another thing is it's like being a parent. You have to be willing to not have people like you. You have to be like, if you're a parent and you always want your kid to like you, you're not going to be a good parent. They're going to have to be days they mad at you. They're going to be days they hate you because you're doing what's right. So you have to, like, you know what? What I do, I embrace the love. Like y'all showing me love, I try to embrace it. Because if for every podcast like you guys that want to fuck with me, there's one that don't want to fuck with me. Oh, we don't like IceT. IceT married a white woman. IceT this, IceT that. IceT does this. Fuck y'all. I don't give a fuck. I'm living my life, and I'm only gonna be here for a short period. That's one thing you learn. Once you cross 40, woo, this shit starts to move.
Like this. Really, really quick. Yeah.
And then you realize how important your calls were. Like, you gotta live for yourself first, you know? And once you get your shit together, then you can help other people, you know?
That's it.
Yeah. So even if I gotta have a fake background, this is just for fun, y'all. I ain't tripping. This is just for fun. This is some shit I found out how to do. So
it is dope though too. I like it.
It's better to,
it's really dope.
It's fun.
Yeah, you look fun back there. And you know what? That sets us up nicely for our last question, IceT. Yeah. How can we follow your movement? What you doing now? What's happening? We need to keep up with you.
Well, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm at Ice motherfucking T, Ice MFT, or just IceT. And okay. And then I'm on Twitter. I'm at Final Level. That's the name of my production company, Final Level. I figure, to me, the final level is inner peace. Once you're at peace with yourself and you're not trying to prove nothing to nobody, that's that moment where you just like, I'm where I want to be and I'm happy with myself. Being happy with yourself is the final level. So I named my production company the Final Level. And also I play video games and you're always trying to get to the final level. So that, but SVU is coming back for season 22.
22.
So that's my day job. Still doing music. I'm featuring on a lot of rap records with my homies. Still doing Body Count. Body Count's new album, Carnivore, is out. I got an animated series I'm working on now called Tech City with Dr. Dre's doing the music, Snoop, Nori, a whole bunch of people from hip hop are in this. It's like a first blaxploitation it's animated, but it ain't funny. It's gangster. It's wild.
Okay, I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, we got a dude lives in a Gucci house. This nigga's whole house is Gucci, and his name is Louis.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to get with you on that one. I gotta come check that out once y'all done with it and get it up and running.
So I mean, I got artists I'm working with and different things. I mean, I bet the best way to keep up with me is through social media.
Okay.
I'm just about motivating people to stay positive, you know, give you a place, a hater shelter. Like if you're tired of all those other people, come over to my page. We ain't hating, we motivating and congratulating and participating in the game, you know? And
right.
I'm just trying to stay positive. You know, I got a 4-year-old now, so life started all over for me again. And, you know, just trying to suck a duck, you know?
I like that.
Yeah, because
suck a duck.
And you got it, because no matter where you are in life, that bullshit can come. That bullshit can come. I mean, look at Bill Cosby. I'm sure he thought he was going to check out of here and have a great life, and now he's spending his last days in prison, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't got nothing like that in my backyard. I'm looking at the word backyard. I don't got nothing like that. But at the same time, I'm concentrating on staying out of bullshit, staying out of trouble, staying, you know, because I'll end it like this. The only thing I feel you leave as a person here is your legacy. Not money, real estate. I have a daughter, 2 daughters, and a son. I want them, when I'm gone, to be able to say, I'm IceT's child, and the gates open up for them. You know, I don't want them to be like, oh, your dad was a sucker. Your dad was a snitch. Your dad was this, that, or the third. Your dad. And imagine how kids whose families' legacies were destroyed, now they can't even move like they should, you know, after all the work their parents done. So that's all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure, you know, my son told me the other day, he said, yeah, Dad, I'm in LA, you know, I'm moving around. I got juice. I'm like, nigga, that's my juice. What juice you got? He goes, he's like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because that security guard said he grew up with you. I'm like, yeah, that's my juice, nigga. You
right, you walking in on that. But, you know, man, once this COVID-19 is over, IceT, I would love for us to be able to get together again, to be able to see how we came out of this and see all the great stuff that you're working on now. But our conversation has been amazing, and it sets us up nicely for the quote that we began with, which goes, don't allow your circumstances to determine who you are. Use your circumstances to motivate you to who you want to become.
Absolutely.
And I think that our whole conversation was built on that. And I really appreciate you spending your time with us today, IceT, to talk about this thing and to also be able to drop some nuggets and some lasting conversations for the audience. So I just want to say thank you again. And thanks so much to our audience for tuning in to Rappers in My Backyard, the podcast that stays lit. Make sure that you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell. That's how you're going to find out about amazing artists and actors like IceT, like we had today. And also make sure you check out our website at www.rappersinmybackyard.com and sign up for the newsletter. Thanks again to our special guest, IceT. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me. I'll come back. I'll come back.
Okay, cool.
You know how to get at me. Call me through the hood line.
I do. Yeah, I got you on the hood line. Thanks so much, IceT.
All right.
Have a great day, and we'll wrap later.
All right, peace.
All right, peace, man. Thanks so much, you guys, for tuning in to Rappers in My Backyard. We had an amazing time today, an amazing interview, and we got some nuggets that we could use to last forever. We're out of here. Tune in next Sunday. Love you guys.
We rap about relationships, entertainment, and music. You heard?